Let's talk about who did more damage to Joe Biden. I mean, there's a lot out there. So his issue on busing, disastrous.
Ridiculous.
And he winds up under a bus.
Yeah.
And then you've got Michael Bennett pointing out, hey, you know what? That tax deal that you did with Mitch McConnell was actually disastrous and made most of those tax cuts permanent.
It's still, yeah.
Yep. And then you had Bernie Sanders at the end saying, wait, what are you talking about ending the wars? You're the guy who voted for the Iraq War. So how badly did Biden get crushed tonight?
I mean, the vice president was exposed. His record was exposed. And that's really what this is about. For the American people to look at the records of the candidates up there on that stage, and they have to determine who is going to be the best person to lead this nation to transcendence. And absolutely that candidate is Senator Bernie Sanders.
And so when you look at what happened to Buttigieg, he even said his own town was a mess. Swalwell asked him, why didn't you fire the police chief if you thought it was unacceptable?
It's a good question. I served on the city council in the city of Cleveland. I served under a mayor who called out a racist police department in the city of Cleveland. So the mayor can't make any excuses about why he cannot control his own police department. And if he can't control his own police department, how is he going to be able to handle being the president of the United States of America? It is an insult. And especially to the black community. You know, black residents are up in arms. And this is personal for me as a black woman in America. This is not about me being the co-chair of a campaign. This is about being a black woman in America who has a black son, black husband, black brother, black father, black. And what we have to endure, and to have this mayor and some of the video recordings, as I'm sure that you saw, say to a black woman who's pouring out her heart when she says, you know, makes a comment, well, you know, I'm not going to vote for you. And he has a cavalier attitude, well, I didn't ask you for your vote. Is this really the kind of person that we want to leave the nation when the black community is hurting?
Yeah. You know, TYT Investigates found that he actually had said that the tapes, the ones that have the cops talking about and making racist statements should not come out.
The black police chief that got fired.
Right.
Over this.
And we found documents saying that his administration is saying those tapes should not come out because they might endanger prosecutions. But shouldn't they endanger prosecutions if it was racist cops?
I mean, as the mayor, he should be the moral leader and saying, let the chips fall where they may. And I'm not justifying what the police chief did, but at the same time, to have white police officers on tape saying bigoted, racist stuff about black folks, and the mayor didn't even stand up against that. It's just something wrong with that. And so I'm hoping that America will be on the side of what is right, what is just, and what is good. And racism and bigotry has no place in America. And certainly having a leader that in a city of 100,000 people who can't get his stuff together in that city, why would we promote him to be president of the United States of America? There's only one candidate in this race that has stood up consistently against bigotry and racism, and that is Senator Bernie Sanders. And Cenk, who understands from a lived experience through his father, as you know, who escaped the Holocaust, you know, at the age of 17 years old. There are many of the senator's relatives that he never even got a chance to see because of, you know, bigotry, white nationalism, and racism that kills you. So we don't have time to play with no half-measured Democrats when it comes to racism and bigotry and discrimination and the pain that the African-American community is facing. And to be so arrogant to tell a black woman, I didn't ask you for your vote, when the black community is hurting, is unacceptable on every level.
Now, let's go back to Senator Biden. When Senator Biden answered Kamala Harris on the issue of busing, he's still against busing, and he said, it's okay. I like that they did it in California. I just didn't want it in my backyard. Isn't he actually making an argument for states' rights?
All right. I mean, that's what really that got to me. You know, thank God the federal government did step in, even though we got the unfinished business of Reconstruction, which is for another show. But thank God the federal government did step in. Or my ancestors were still being enslaved. It makes no sense. And I'm gonna just bring it up to modern times. Senator Bernie Sanders has a plan. It's called the Thurgood Marshall Quality Education Plan, where he deals head on with resegregation. And all across this country, particularly in the South, there is resegregation of schools, and it leaves poor black and brown children vulnerable in this country. It does not help advance us as a nation. And the senator believes what the NAACP believes, that there needs to be a moratorium on funding for charter schools because they are the biggest perpetrators of resegregation in schools. But it just makes no sense that the vice president would hold on to this. Why can't he just apologize? Why can't he just say that he was wrong? You know, there's a man in the White House right now who said he never had to apologize for anything, never had to ask God for forgiveness for anything. Do we need that type of person going head-to-head with President Trump? No, we need a real champion of the people who has been consistent, and that's Senator Bernie Sanders.
Senator Sanders, in his summary, talked about, hey, we can all have great plans, and we do, but we can't get this done unless we take on corporate power, and that is influencing our politicians. Do you think that that means that Kamala Harris and all the other candidates here won't be able to get things done because even if they have good plans, they don't have the courage to take on that kind of corporate power?
That's the message that the senator was sending. And Cenk, again, in 2016, there was only one candidate on that stage who had the courage to say, you know what? I want my only special interest to be the American people. I'm going to raise money from everyday people in this country so I don't have to answer to those special interests. It is important that the American people understand that the boldness and the courage that it takes to say, Wall Street, I'm coming for you for your greed. The pharmaceutical industry, I'm coming for you for your greed. The multi-millionaires and billionaires in this country who have made profits off the backs and the necks and the misery of the everyday people, I'm coming for you. There's only one candidate, and that's Senator Bernie Sanders. So if the American people want a true champion that will never sell them out, it is Senator Bernie Sanders.
Senator Nina Turner, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.